He built Apple from nothing. Then they kicked him out. Humiliated, rejected, forgotten. But years later he returned and changed the world forever. This is the story of the man who turned failure into the greatest comeback in tech history. This is Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs wasn't your typical genius. He was a college dropout. A barefoot, Zen-obsessed dreamer who believed technology could be beautiful. At 21, he and his buddy Steve Wozniak started Apple in his parents' garage. Their first product? A clunky wooden box called the Apple I. But it worked. And it caught fire. Within a few years, Apple exploded into a $1.9 billion company. By 1984, Jobs introduced the Macintosh, a sleek, graphical computer with an ad so bold it only aired once during the Super Bowl. People thought he was crazy, but Jobs was convinced he was changing the world. He wasn't just building machines. He was building a revolution. But behind the scenes, chaos was brewing. Jobs was brilliant but difficult, demanding, controlling. He clashed with Apple's board, argued with executives, and refused to compromise on his vision. Apple's sales started to drop. The Macintosh wasn't selling like it should have. Investors were nervous, and the board made a bold move. They sided with the new CEO and stripped Jobs of all power. He was 30 years old, and he was fired from the company he created. Imagine that. The thing you built with your bare hands ripped away from you. To the world, he was a washed-up tech guy, a failed genius, an arrogant dreamer who flew too close to the sun. But here's the thing about great visionaries. They don't stop. They rebuild. Instead of sulking, Jobs started 2 new companies. One of them was called Next, a computer company ahead of its time. The other? A small animation studio called Pixar. At first, no one took Pixar seriously, but Jobs believed in its founder, John Lasseter, and pushed for innovation. In 1995, Pixar released Toy Story, the world's first full-length 3D animated movie. It was a global smash. Pixar exploded. And Steve Jobs, the man who was once fired in disgrace, was suddenly a billionaire again. But he wasn't done yet. In 1997, Apple was on the brink of collapse. Their products were outdated. Their stock was in the gutter. They needed a miracle. So they called the man they once rejected Steve Jobs, and he came back. He walked into Apple like a warrior returned from exile. In weeks, he cut unnecessary products. He simplified the product line. And in 1998, he unveiled the iMac, a bold, colorful machine that looked like nothing else. Sales soared. Apple was back. Then came the iPod. Then the iTunes Store. Then the iPhone.
And suddenly, Apple wasn't just a tech company.
It was a cultural icon. Steve Jobs didn't just rebuild Apple. He reinvented the way we live. Music, phones, movies, computers, all changed forever by one man's vision. He showed the world that failure isn't the end. That getting fired can be the beginning of greatness. That you can be rejected, humiliated, cast out, and still rise. In 2005, Jobs gave a legendary speech at Stanford University. He said, "Sometimes life hits you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith." I didn't see it then, but getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. In 2011, Steve Jobs passed away, but his vision? It lives in your pocket, on your desk, in every idea that dares to think differently. Thanks for watching. If this story inspired you, check out our next video. It might just change your life. And don't forget to subscribe for more real stories that prove anything is possible.